Good afternoon, everybody. And today's interview, I've got Mark Homer, who I've known for quite a number of years, and he always inspires me. He's very active and proactive, both in the world of property, but also he has a very holistic view on business, enterprise, entrepreneurship, and all-round good egg. Good afternoon, Mark. How are you, my friend?
Hello, Shaz. I'm great.
The question which I'm getting asked a lot nowadays, Mark, is from people who are thinking about having either an additional source of income or looking to leave their full-time job, or they've lost their job, or they think they might lose their job because of everything that's happening around the world. So when you started off in property, what were some of the challenges you faced? And linked with that, if somebody's thinking about going into property, what would your advice be to them? But the first part first is, what were some of the challenges you faced back then as a newbie?
The same old thing. Where do you get the money from? How do you start? And my answer to that was, I'd worked quite hard since university to save and put money aside, and I'd been trading a few cars, or maybe sort of importing some sort of clothes and things like that from the Far East. And also as at university, I was sort of providing a few services around the campus and had a few little businesses, and I'd always saved that money, didn't have loads of money, but had enough just for a couple of deposits to get rolling. And then I later learned there were sort of other methods you can use to get into property with less money. So that was a huge challenge. The other thing, and this is perennial, which strategy do you follow? What actually works? Because the first couple of strategies I followed really didn't work. They looked like they worked. Everyone was marketing saying they worked, and the herd was all running in that direction. I didn't really know much about it. I was buying overseas, and I was buying new builds and off plan, and all this, quite frankly, rubbish that I didn't understand.
And I thought it was only me who did all that stuff, Mark.
Shaz, we all have to pay our entrance fee.
Yeah, we do.
We do. It's called the idiot tax.
I know, yeah.
And, we're all subjected to it. So, of course, I went through all that sort of period where I was, where I was, sorry, someone's just coming in. Lost my train. Went through all that period where I was sort of learning and losing money, and I actually met just a sort of letting agent locally who was buying these little terraced houses and just sort of refurbing them and remortgaging them, and he taught me to do sort of the same thing, and obviously he wanted management, he wanted properties under management, didn't he? So that's how I got started.
So if somebody's thinking of going into property now, knowing everything you know, what advice would you give them in terms of to help them get started, to avoid the kind of mistakes you and I have made? And of course you can't always avoid those mistakes, and I agree with you. You've got to pay your entry fee, the idiot tax, to learn those hard lessons. But to help them minimize and hopefully eliminate them, what would be some of your kind of key tips to give to them for them to think about?
I think they need to surround themselves with good people who are honest with them and who actually know what they're doing. So whether they are, they're mentoring them, or they're getting some training, but people who are experienced and doing this sort of stuff. Buying an existing property in this country, that a little buy-to-let, getting it cheap, putting the sort of hard. The hard yards into to be able to buy it cheap and refurbish it and create something good out of it is going to, that's within the capabilities of most people. Trading shares on the stock exchange against the best traders in London, over the long term is for the average person a complete impossibility.
Yeah.
It's just not going to work. They'll have a few winners and then they'll lose an incredible amount. So, property is a local business, and you have the ability to sort of trade and do better than others in your local area to get deals. So yeah, I think you need to get the right model, the right strategy from the right people who are already doing it.
And you talked about this a few moments ago in terms of no money down. Now, this concept could be alien to some people, especially those starting off. So if someone's got no money, in your experience, how do they get started?
They might do a JV, they may borrow some money from somebody else, they may go and get a personal loan or something like that. Or they may do a lease option where they lease a property for a while with an option to purchase. Or if they can get some money, then like I did, they just then buy the properties cheap enough, refurbish them, and then roll the money over a series of times in order to, or just keep rolling it in order to build this never expanding sort of portfolio that doesn't stop expanding.
And it sounds ridiculously simple, doesn't it? I mean, I know the first time I heard it from you quite a few years ago, I just thought, this can't work. How can you put no money down? Because obviously the way that being an accountant you're trained, and the things that you read, you learn, you've got to have some form of capital and some expertise usually to go into a business, be it property or something else, and we're going to talk about something else as well in a moment. But having no money and then doing deals, do you think this is impossible? And now I've done a few no money down deals, both in property, some really big ones as well, not as big as yours of course, but decent sized ones, and then also in the process of buying a few businesses in the same sector with no money down. It's a complete game changer, isn't it? Total game changer.
Well, yeah, because you can speed up and take out that huge blockage, which is the cash, which is slowing you down. So yes.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. So